Say hello to the Snoo Smart Sleeper. It's a $1,700 motorized bassinet designed to rock your baby to sleep. Except right now, it's not rocking. It's just sitting there. A product manager somewhere realized that a well-rested baby was a missed revenue opportunity. And where is that baby now? He's probably safe somewhere. From bassinets to BMWs, everyone's found a way to rent you the things you used to own. And who's responsible for writing the playbook? A little photo editing software called Adobe. Welcome to the Capital Paradox. This economy's been running on cooked books, and we're here to conduct the audit. We track the laws, lobbyists, and loopholes engineered to favor profit over progress. Today, we're investigating how Adobe built the subscription trap, used to shake everyone down $20 at a time. We'll look at how they built the cancellation labyrinth, who's getting rich off of it, and how it spread across industries until even the car in the driveway is charging rent. For 23 years, Adobe sold perpetual licenses. A customer paid once and owned the software. It was designed to work forever. The business model was simple: be the best photo and video editing platform, charge a fair price, and sell lots of copies. In 2012, they brought in $4.4 billion in revenue with a 23% profit margin. The model was working just fine. And if the user ever needed features from a newer release, Adobe had a solution. When Adobe Creative Suite 6 came out, they offered upgrades for $199 instead of the full $699. The customer received the latest version. Adobe got paid for their work. Everybody won. But Adobe's executives saw it as a leak in the revenue stream. CFO Mark Garrett and CEO Shantanu Narayan looked at the product and came to a realization. If the version of Photoshop purchased 5 years ago was good enough, you had no reason to give them another dime. To solve that, they decided to stop selling a product and start selling a service. In 2013, Adobe didn't just change the price. They edited out the buy button entirely. From that day forward, the tools of the trade could no longer be owned, just rented. Garrett knew this would be a bloodbath. In the short term, he called it the Valley of Death, a phase where their revenue would fall off a cliff and their stock might crater while they waited for those small monthly payments to finally add up. He went to Wall Street and convinced investors to hold their breath while the creative community revolted. But they knew the industry was too dependent on their software to actually leave. To keep using the tools you had mastered over a lifetime, there was only one option: pay monthly for the rest of your life, or lose access to everything you'd ever created. Ownership was over. The era of the forever payment had arrived. Adobe didn't just change their own business model. They proved to every other company on Earth that ownership could be deleted through a 3-act structure. 1. Become the industry standard. 2. Create proprietary file formats. 3. Flip the switch, then sit back and wait. Intuit, the company that created QuickBooks, followed the Adobe formula to a T. Small business owners use QuickBooks to track receipts, expenses, and payroll. When a business closes, those records must be maintained for years, for taxes and audits. The thing is, QuickBooks saves most of your data in proprietary format, usually a .qbw, short for QuickBooks Working File. Intuit gives a 1-year grace period of read-only access to these files, a generous window until you realize that the IRS requires 7 years of records. The small business dies, but Intuit's revenue lives on. Then there's Rocket Money, a subscription specifically designed to find and cancel other subscriptions. While the app provides a basic list of recurring charges for free, the feature that handles the cancellations is locked behind a recurring monthly fee. The business model functions by charging a subscription to manage the clutter of other subscriptions. It is a snake eating its own tail, and then charging a convenience fee for the meal. Car manufacturers saw Adobe's success and thought, why not us? Now, even the thing in your driveway is taking a cut. In 2022, BMW decided to charge $18 a month to use the heated seats that were already installed in the car. The heating element was there, the button was there, but the permission to stay warm was locked behind a paywall. Then there's Mercedes-Benz. On their electric models, the motors are physically capable of higher power, but Mercedes electronically limits them. Accessing the extra 80 horsepower your car already has requires the acceleration increase subscription. That's $900 a year just to remove a digital speed limiter on an engine which has already been paid for. BMW did eventually scrap the heated seat subscription after global ridicule. Turns out people will tolerate rent on some things, but they draw a hard line at being charged for their own seat cushions. It was a rare victory, but the model's still spreading, and it's more profitable than ever. Here's a business analyst from Adobe to help make the business case for owning nothing. Speaking of the cancellation process, the FTC was kind enough to document it in detail. Hitting cancel isn't enough to be done. The system forces navigation through multiple pages. Each one tries to convince subscribers to stay. Discounts, downgrades, are you sure warnings. Calling customer service only makes it worse. The FTC complaint includes stories of dropped calls, endless transfers, and representatives who refuse to process cancellation without escalating it to a supervisor. In October 2024, the FTC tried to fix this. They finalized a rule called Click to Cancel. The idea was simple. It should be as easy to cancel a subscription as it was to sign up. One click in, one click out. No phone calls, no stay for 10% offers, no 10-page surveys asking why you're leaving. The rule was supposed to take effect in July of 2025, and for a few months leading to the date, the internet started to feel noticeably better. Companies started preparing. Cancellation processes got easier, cleaner, simpler. If you tried to cancel a subscription in early 2025, you might have noticed it was actually easy. And then, days before the rule took effect, the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, the same court kind enough to kill the student loan forgiveness plan, killed Click to Cancel too. The court ruled on a procedural technicality. They determined the FTC hadn't properly analyzed the economic impact, so the entire rule was vacated. With the court signaling these practices were legally viable, companies went wild. The Keep My Subscription button became a massive green beacon. The cancel option, a tiny gray hyperlink designed to look like plain text. To actually leave, you click buttons that say, "No thanks, I prefer to pay full price," or "I don't care about my family's security." The design isn't accidental, it's tested, optimized, and deployed at scale. In 2024, the Federal Trade Commission called Adobe's practices illegal. The FTC filed a complaint alleging the Adobe executives personally oversaw, directed, and controlled Adobe's unfair practices. How did they come to that conclusion? As always, it's in the emails. In internal emails uncovered by the FTC investigation, an Adobe executive who remained anonymous in the complaint described the early termination fee as being, quote, "a bit like heroin for the company's bottom line." Meet Scotty Malum. In 2013, he found himself forced into the subscription model to keep his tools updated. When he tried to cancel, he was hit with a 50% early termination fee for a contract he didn't realize he'd signed. In 2014, Malum filed a class action lawsuit, alleging the fee was an illegal penalty designed to trap users. The legal challenge failed. The judge ruled the fee was a penalty. It was a choice. Either finish the year or pay half to leave. This serves as a stark reminder of the immense legal weight carried by the terms of service agreements we routinely accept without review. 10 years later, the Federal Trade Commission produced something Scotty never had: the receipts, the internal emails, the executives admitting the fee was predatory. They acknowledged that making it clearer would cause, quote, "a big business hit." In May 2025, a federal judge denied Adobe's motion to dismiss. The court isn't looking at the fine print anymore, it's looking at intent. But here's what makes Adobe's model different from Netflix or Spotify. Canceling Netflix results in losing access to their library. This makes sense, their content is being rented. Canceling Adobe results in losing access to personal work.
You snotty little bastard.
The files are on local hard drives. The user created them, but Adobe owns the digital key. If payment for the tool stops, access to a professional history is locked. Adobe didn't pivot because subscriptions were better for customers. The change occurred because it was better for Adobe. One-time purchases have a ceiling. You sell someone Photoshop, and eventually they stop paying. But a subscription, you extract cash from the same customer forever. Eventually, someone looked at a bassinet and thought, why should a baby nap for free? Because in the end, owning nothing is simply more profitable than owning something. Thanks for watching The Capital Paradox, written by me, an anonymous auditor. Subscribe for our next episode, The Business Case for God as a Shell Company. You bring the tithe, we'll bring the receipts.